we find that God allows some moments to show us through the panorama of events that life gets better. And even with peaks of joyful moments of peace, prominence, posturing for matters that will excite and express the blessings of just being alive. Yeah. It doesn't matter who you are, whether rich, black, poor, white, young or old. God can send some exciting days that will outweigh the bad days and cause us not to complain. Reverend Paul Jones penned the words to summarize the expectation of life in this manner. I've had some good days. Y'all gonna help me now. I've had some bad days. I've had some hills to climb. I've had some weary days and some sleepless nights. But when I look around and I think things over, tell me somebody. Oh, my goodness. Slow down, man. Slow down. Outweigh my bad days. So I won't complain. It might be the birth of a baby, the purchase of a first house, the first car, the first date with the potential husband or wife. You may have experienced joy in receiving the first check on that first job. Or the first time you cooked a real meal. I'm not talking about no microwave stuff, I'm talking a real meal. Mama tell you where you got to get in there and get the pots and the pans together. You got to measure stuff. You can't just grab it and go and throw it in the microwave and then run off and 5 or 6 minutes later come back and you got a full meal. You had to learn how to cook. Well, that's what's wrong with folks nowadays. Don't nobody know how to cook. If I was here for Women's Day, I'd say, honey, you better learn. When money gets tight and change gets strained, you can't go run to the store and grab you one of these and fix things. You better learn how to get you some Swan cake flour. Come here for a minute. Get you some sugar. Get you a whole pound of butter. Put it in that cake mold. Mix that book up with your hands. On ahead, mix that cake up. Put it in the oven and bake that booger till it gets good and done. So you stick your straw in the middle of it. Like me and my baby sister learned how to cook. You better learn how to fend for yourself. Find out life doesn't get any better than that. Might be first time you read a letter from a long-lost friend or relative. Sometimes you feel joy with that loving kiss from your parent, grandparent, or child that lifts you to the heights of refreshing energy after a tiring day. Whatsoever the situation may have been, it was a memorable time that showed you that life doesn't get any better than the moment you in right then and now. But let's be honest, my brothers and sisters, in understanding that God can cause the times to occur so you can not only appreciate those around you, but are encouraged to see Him moving you to a time where your mind and heart will come to the conclusion of blessing and benefit that will cause you to say within yourself, it just keeps getting better. Now come on with me. I ain't going to be long, but I'm going to be long enough. Within the framework of the Old Testament to the New Testament, God shows His people that with challenges comes reward. Challenge of the land of Canaan came with defeating the tribes. You know who the tribes were: the Jebusites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Hivites, and all of those other ites that you deal with in life. But the reward was going into a land that flowed, with milk and honey. Land that was so plenteous. Moses told him in Deuteronomy chapter 6, he said, before y'all get too far into the land, down around 10, 11, and 12, he said, when you get to the houses you didn't meet. Come here for a minute. When you get to the crop that you didn't plant. When you get to reaping the rewards of things that you didn't put in time nor effort for. don't you ever forget the Lord. That's what we need to do, my brothers and sisters, to the children of this day. We need to remind them that whatever you get in life, don't you dare forget the Lord. Whatever you do in life, whether it's accomplishing your academics or achieving athletics, you better not ever forget the Lord. Challenge came with David in 1 Samuel chapter 17 when he arrived to the valley of Elah. Heard the voice of Goliath throwing some shade on God's people. Nobody from Israel had the nerve enough to answer the defiant words against God's chosen, but the reward was that when David answered the challenge, trusted God to take care of him, 1 Samuel 17, 45 through 49 records that not only did David kill his enemy, but sent the Philistines running back to their city in fear. Can I encourage somebody in here this afternoon to know? Don't worry about what your enemy is saying about you. Be concerned about what God can do with them and through you. And when God gets done, I guarantee you, your enemies will leave you alone. Pastor House, we done been through some things in life. We've had enemies talk about us and say we ain't gonna amount to nothing. But look where God has brought us. God can bring you to the pinnacle of your life to the point where folk, even your enemies, are saying, how did they get there? Y'all know how them folk are on your job when the Lord blesses you to get a promotion and they sit back wondering, wait a minute, they ain't got the education, so how did they get there? They ain't been here long enough. How did they get there? Matter of fact, they didn't even have the nerve enough to holler about, well, they're not as skilled as I am. But guess what? Look where the Lord has brought us. Anybody ever had experiences in your life when you didn't deserve something, but God gave it to you anyhow? Does anybody in here ever had a fact where grace showed up in your life and favor showed up? But let me help you out before you get the big head. Favor ain't always fair. All right. You got to understand, Paul records in 2 Corinthians 4 that the challenges of being a servant of the Lord, specifically a preacher or minister, as the text refers, are many and will cause frustration to those who are called to preach but the gospel of God's grace through Jesus Christ. My brothers and sisters, you ought to watch the text. Let's watch the text as Paul reminds us in the first 16 verses that the challenge comes from so many facets. Life will literally show you internally and externally how God can work. But believe Paul shared that the minister's life is not all glitz and glamour every day. My brothers and sisters, let's be honest, because not everybody likes the pastor or preacher. Come here for me. Don't run out too quick. Not everybody is glad to see a pastor or preacher. Let's be honest. Not everybody in here is concerned about taking care of the needs of the pastor, preacher, or his family. Not everybody in here wants to hear me reminded that Jesus is the only way, truth, and life. Pastor Howard, not everybody wants to hear every Sunday that Romans 3:23 says, for everyone has sinned. We all fall short of God's glorious standard. Not every person in here wants to be reminded of Romans 6:23 that says the wages of sin is death, but the free gift of God is eternal life through Christ Jesus our Lord. Not everybody wants to hear, bring thee the tithe into the storehouse, that there may be meat in my house. See, y'all thought y'all getting too funny, but I got to dig a little deep in this thing. Not everybody wants to hear the fact that God rewards those who diligently seek after him. Not everybody wants to understand the fact that Jesus came teaching and preaching, and it reminds all of us who are under the yoke of the gospel of Jesus Christ to preach and teach. We got to do it the same way he did. Put it straight down the line. I know it's good when you got the crowd going with you. I know it's great when folk are patting you on your back, telling you you're doing a wonderful job. But guess what? There's some nights when ain't nobody going to say nothing to you. There are some times in our lives, my brothers and sisters, when you got to hear folk holler about when are they going to sit down and person may love company, but God's greatest people are those who will seek after doing his will. And we don't worry about what folks say about us. Even in here, in the text before us, God uses Paul to share some jewels from his word of God to remind us that as we follow the Lord, it just keeps getting better. Pastor House, first point of the text, I want to bring that to remind all of us in here, not just you and your family, but all of us in here, that it just keeps getting better. It causes priorities to better. Keep in mind, my brothers and sisters, the resource that allowed Paul to know how and when to do what needs to be done was through God. He had his priorities straightened out. And brothers and sisters, when God is in your life and God is leading and directing you, you don't mind following God. But when you follow God, God will also become a priority in your life. All right. Some of us in here, we need to understand, talking a good game is all right, but put your money where your mouth is. Talking about, I'm a child of the King. I love the Lord. He heard my cry. That's all good and fine. But where are you when the chips are down? Come here for a minute. But where are you when family dies off and then you suddenly, how about I ain't going back to the church? When you just told on yourself that he ain't your dad. Watch this. Y'all heard the saying that folks say in church, God is my pilot and he's my leader and he is the head of my life and yet when you come to church you won't say anything to the Lord. All right. Somebody just said you catch that. We'll talk more during a Memphis State game or Memphis Grizzlies game or a football game or basketball game. We'll talk more than that time than you will in the Lord's house. And you know how I know? Because some of y'all still looking at me. You ain't open your mouth. My brothers and sisters, we got to come to an understanding that if God is your choice, if he's the leader in your life, then he's the first priority in your life. But when you following the Lord and when you're being a child of God in sincerity and desire to follow him, not only will you following God becomes a priority, but fellowshipping with believers becomes a priority. Can I go there? Y'all don't mind? Y'all got to be careful because nowadays folks don't want to talk to each other in church. Nowadays preachers got to pump and prime you to speak to somebody sitting right next to you. Y'all heard reach over and touch your neighbor. Reach over and look somebody in the eye. That's all good and fine, but see, I came through a time in my generation when I was probably the last group of generations to come out of church where folk fellowship and didn't mind talking to each other. They didn't mind sitting down and saying, honey, where you going to eat at? Well, you come on to my house and eat with us because we got plenty of food. It was a time in our lives, brothers and sisters, where we didn't mind fellowshipping with each other. But see, now nobody wants to talk to each other. Because if you speak to anybody, you thinking they trying to get in your business. Nobody want to know your business. All I want to know is, do you love the Lord? Does anybody in here love the Lord? Okay, let's talk. Come on, talk to me. Is anybody in here that loves the Lord? The problem is Paul had to come to the realization that when God is first in your life, you don't mind talking to other folk. But see, then we got church folk. My wife's looking at me like, no, you're not. Yes, I am. Y'all know how church folk are. Church folk are the ones that get mad at the folk that come before the church and ask and solicit for prayer. Because they say, what's wrong with them? You know, sometimes things don't have to be wrong for you to ask the church for prayer. Church folk are the ones that will sooner argue with you over the color of the carpet versus trying to bring the folk in so that they might know the Lord and the part of their sin. somebody smells like they just came out of the juice jar. Real folk who know the Lord don't mind telling somebody, honey, come on and let me help you with a meal, because you know they don't have the money to even have a meal. See, church folk get mad because they think you're not supposed to do anything. I got my religion, you get yours. Well, honey, let me help you. If Jesus felt the same way, do you really think he would have come from glory down there? Don't you know it's the koinonia in the Greek of fellowshipping as the believers ought to have? Don't you know that's the reason why Jesus came down? Yes. Some of y'all looking at me funny. Don't you know if Jesus had not come down, we wouldn't be in this church this morning? I'm telling you now. Don't you know if Jesus had not come down, we would not be able to sing the songs of Zion? If Jesus had not come down, we wouldn't be able to sing What a Fellowship. For the joy divine. Leaning on the everlasting arm. Don't you know if Jesus had not come down, we would not be able to celebrate the Lord's Supper in remembrance of him. Knowing that if it had not been for Jesus, we would not be here right now. Fellowshipping with believers becomes a priority. Family will become a priority. Both inside and outside of the house. Let me hurry on through this. I don't want to hold it long, but some of y'all look like y'all fanning enough to try to start up an airplane. But let me help you a little bit. Family becomes a priority. Family becomes, y'all got to hear me now, family becomes a priority. You don't just see family when there's funerals and weddings. Come here for a minute. Family will check on each other every now and then. I have to admit, my brothers and sisters, that family is a priority in my life, but I don't always call my brothers and sisters like I need to. I got a grandmama who's, 96 years old, getting ready to turn 97 in August, and I haven't seen her for several years, but when my brother goes by the nursing home to see her, he says, bro, I'll FaceTime you. And I get to look at my granny, and my grandmama was the one that raised me. And when I watch how she gets when she sees my face, it makes me realize that family is important. If family was not important, God would have never directed Paul to talk about the fact that fathers love your wives. Wives love your husbands. Raise your children in the fear and admonition of the Lord. God would never have told Paul to put that. But family was very important, and the reason why is because God instituted the family. Why you got an idiot in Washington, D.C. running around tearing families apart, whether they're in the United States or out of the United States. We ought to stand up like the real people of God and declare enough is enough. But we got scared. We done got scared. Y'all know what scared is, right? See, when you're scared, that means you still feel a little secure in who you are. But when you scared, down south, when you scared, that means you don't care what's going on around you. You don't want nothing to do with it. But brothers and sisters, we got to learn that priorities are put in their place when we serve the Lord. For the second point of the text is that it also causes praying to get better. My brothers and sisters, whether you realize it or not, the Apostle Paul was a praying man. Matter of fact, that's why when you check out the book of Acts after chapter 9, when Paul was converted in chapter 9, you catch what he does. He leaves and goes to Arabia for 3 years in prayer and solitude, seeking after the Lord. Paul sought prayer when he was in the jail there after he had saved Lydia and her family by the preaching and teaching of the gospel. It was nobody but Paul and Silas that was down in the jail. And as a matter of fact, the Bible even states very clearly that they prayed and sang hymns. So don't tell me Paul wasn't no praying man, but praying becomes a priority in your life. It ain't just when trouble rises, you'll hasten to his throne, but praying is when things are going good as well as going bad. Some of y'all church mothers ought to brag along with me because I know you cute little preacher that you see in front of you. I was a little hellion when I was growing up. But I heard my grandmama tell me one time when I told her that I had been called to preach, she said, baby, I've been praying for you since you come out of your mama's womb. And brothers and sisters, we ought to face reality. If we want to change the children and the community that we live in, you better start praying and praying that God changes. You find, my brothers and sisters, keep in mind the connectivity, the power source that he needs and uses. You become accustomed to praying daily. Now I'm better than you did. Some of us don't pray unless we get in trouble. Some of us don't pray over our food. And then you wonder why you can't eat at everybody's restaurant. Some of us don't even pray when we lay down at night. But how many of us remember the prayer that we were taught as children? Now I lay me. I pray the Lord my soul. If I should die, I pray the Lord my soul. Then you go through that laundry list that you had to pray, that you had to offer before you got your foot in the bed. Bless mama, grandmama, daddy, granddaddy, aunties, uncles, nephews, cousins, and all of that. You had to do that. And that was good training ground. Because it taught us that prayer was important. But now we won't even pray for our schools. And we wonder why they're closing day by day. We won't even pray for the teachers that are teaching our children. And we wonder why teachers are nowadays getting caught sleeping with children. Something's wrong with society when we don't pray enough. And we think God's just going to sweep in and fix everything. He wants to hear from you. Not only do you become accustomed to praying daily, but you also become accustomed to praying for mercy and forgiveness. All of us are sinners saved by grace. Come here for a minute. All of us have messed up in some way, form, or fashion. Has anybody in here got a halo on your head? Why you got a halo on your head? A halo means you done already reached perfection. Last time I checked, I don't see no lights around your head. Ain't nobody gleaming and glowing like you done already been to heaven to see the Lord. All of us are messed up. All of us are sinners. Come here. All of us have messed up and missed God's mark because we're human beings. But that's not a reason or an excuse. You ought to understand. Only God can sanctify you, clean you up, and make you right for service. But when you pray, you ought to pray and ask God to forgive you. And then you ought to pray and ask God to have mercy on your poor soul. All of us need mercy. Not giving us what we justly deserve. All of us have messed up in some way, form, or fashion and done somebody wrong to the extent where God ought to have mercy on your soul. See, we get proud about it nowadays. Matter of fact, we can get boastful about what we do nowadays. Some of us even get to the point where we'll jump on the news and start talking about, yeah, I beat them down because they disrespected me. I was listening to my kids one day and they got to talking about how things were going, and my middle daughter, she watches Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and all that stuff, and now she done got me doing it. And it's amazing to me how folks will give 300, 400, a million hits on two people beating each other to death, but nobody will watch a church service to realize that they need Christ in their life. We need to pray. Take the note out of Young C. Ham. We need to pray each and every day. We need to pray for mercy and forgiveness. But also we need to be accustomed to praying for strength to persevere. You have to remember, brothers and sisters, in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, when you start looking down around from verse 1 all the way to down to verse 16, Paul starts talking about some things that happened in his life that he had to experience. And truth be told, all of us will have some experiences in our life that will necessitate us asking God for strength. You try to do it on your own if you want to. You find out your strength will wear out on you. Paul says, when I'm at my weakest, God is at his greatest. Last point of the text, and I'm in my seat. When it just keeps getting better, it causes preaching to get better. We need to keep in mind, my brothers and sisters, the things that give him the strength to continue preaching. Well, we've got to understand that Paul knew he couldn't do it on his own. Paul needed the presence and power of God in all that he does. You see, Paul had a great mind on him, and he knew a lot of things because he was a Jew among Jews. Paul wasn't one that boasted and bragged about the fact that he was of the tribe of Benjamin. There was nobody but Paul that boasted about the fact that he sat under the feet of the million. But Paul knew that it didn't matter what he had as his own credentials. Can I help somebody out in here? You might not be a preacher, but be careful of how you rely on yourself. Because when you rely on yourself, you'll forget all about who the Lord is. You start thinking about how good you're doing. You start wondering, well, did I do that? It's kind of like Family Matters on TV. I used to love watching how Urkel would come in and he'd mess up something and Carl would get mad at him and Urkel would turn around and he'd pull his glasses down to the edge of his nose and he'd utter those uncaring words, did I do that? Well, let me help somebody out in here this morning, this afternoon, to remind you, you can't do anything under your own power. If it had not been for the Lord on your side, some of you would never have gotten out of grade school. Some of you would never have gotten out of high school. And Lord knows some of you would never have graduated from college. You know, it was those long nights praying, Lord, help me to get through these long exam times. Lord, help me to stay awake in class after you've been out all hours of the night. There's nobody but God that can help you to have the presence and power to do what you need to do. But not only did Paul point up having the presence and power of God, but it was his spirit of faith. When you have faith, that means you're trusting God to be who he is and trusting him to do what he said he would do. Is there anybody in here that knows when you're at your weakest moment, if you trust in the Lord and dare not ever trusting anything else, God will take care of you. Beneath his wings of love abide, God will take care of you. Well, I got to get out of here and get ready to head back to Lexington, Kentucky. But I want to remind you, don't give up. Just hold on to God's unchanging hand. If you are a child of God, you ought to take heart. Go on and go through what you're going through right now, because in time God will take care of you. Beneath his wings of love abide, God will take care of you. Is anybody in here that knows when you're But when you, and the old folk would say, when you're down on your knees, you can't do nothing but look up onto the hills from which comes your help. Is there anybody in there that knows all your help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth? But I can sit out here, but I want to remind somebody in here, don't throw in the towel. You don't know what he's been through. You don't know what me and Pastor House have been through. We've been up sometimes and down sometimes, but God has taken care of us. Is there anybody in here that knows when you get trouble in your life, God can fix all your troubles. He'll take all your burdens and roll away. I heard the old folks say, when you're down, take your burdens to the Lord and leave it there. In the world from you withhold of his silver and his gold, and you gotta get along with legal fair. Just remember in his word how he leads a little bird and take all of your burdens to the Lord and leave it there. Is there anybody in there that knows God will take care of you? If God did not care about you, he would never have sent Jesus to be born of a virgin, walked even and showed for 33 long years. If God did not care about you, he would never have allowed Jesus to heal the sick and raise the dead, give sight to the blind and unstop their ears. If the Lord had not cared enough about you, he would never have allowed his son to go to an old rugged cross and die on that cross. Is there anybody in there that knows that Jesus died on that cross? He died on that cross. He died on that cross. Don't you know he died on that cross? But the Bible didn't stop when he died on that cross. The Bible says they took him down, laid him in a borrowed tomb. He stayed there all night Friday night. Stayed there all day Saturday. Stayed there all night Saturday night. But early he got up with all power in his hands. Is anybody in here glad he got up? He can get up. He can get up. Say yeah. 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 Oh yeah. I know he's alright. I know he's alright. I learned a long time ago when you've been good, some folk will say you better be good for goodness sake, Santa Claus is coming. Well, let me help some of us down in here. Don't worry about Santa Claus. What you better be worried about is when the Lord comes back for his church. Is it gonna find you? Where is it gonna find you at? Is it gonna find you in a juke joint? Is it gonna find you in somebody else's base? Is it gonna find you being and doing what you're not supposed to do as a child of God? Well, some of y'all looking at me funny, like I've been in your business. The Holy Ghost said you're gonna clean it up before he comes back for his church. Because when he comes back for his church, he's gonna bring the church back without spot or a wrinkle. He's going to come for a church that's been cleaned by the Holy Spirit. But I'm so glad this afternoon that when the Holy Spirit cleans you up, it makes you brand new. Is there anybody in there that likes the fact he'll make you a brand new creation in him? 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, old things have passed away. Behold, all things are become new. Is anybody in there? I'm trying to leave this thing alone. Is there anybody in there that loves the fact when you mess up, God can, I said God can clean you up and make you right. And you can say, he'll clean you up and turn you around. But I want you to understand, when it turns you around, it's not to go in the same direction that you were on, but it's to turn you around and head you in the same direction he wants you to go. Good evening, my brothers and sisters. Thank God for your Mount Pleasant. Take care of my big brother. But I'll leave one thing. Ain't he good? Ain't he good? Yeah, ain't he good? Is anybody in here know he's good? Has it been good to you? Is anybody in here? He's been good. He's been good. He's been good. He's been good. I know he's all right. God bless you. But remember, it just keeps getting better. Trust the Lord with all thy heart. Lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he'll direct your path. God bless you. God keep you his heart.